Waiting for a few people to click on. I know some of y'all was wanting to watch this thing live. God gave me another devotional today, and it's kind of odd the way He gave it to me. The devotional would be, on faith yet again. It's I know it sounds like I keep beating a dead horse with faith and all this other stuff, I've been going on over, but, the thing I love to go back on is in Matthew 17. Yeah, Matthew, I believe it's referring to God. Yeah, Matthew 17:20. It's referring to Jesus Christ looking back at the disciples whenever the disciples was asking Him, why couldn't we cast out the demon out of the child? And Jesus looked at him and said, you had no faith. All it takes faith and mustard seed to move mountains. As Christians, we understand what those mountains are. And we understand what it means for God to move those mountains in our life. But sometimes those that don't understand the full aspect of walking with God and walking with Christ, and I believe this message is for someone out there that needs to understand what those mountains are and what it means to move those mountains, because sometimes we get upset when we don't see the mountains moved in life. What I'm referring to is these mountains. You're struggling with addiction. You pray to God to help me get through this. Help me get through this. Sometimes He gives you those stepping stones to help you get through this addiction that you're struggling with. Maybe it's alcoholism. Maybe He helps you with a job that gets you out of the aspect of being able to drink so much, to be able to pull you away from the alcoholism that you're struggling with. Maybe you have something else. Maybe it's maybe you're struggling with a house payment. Maybe you're struggling with finances, and you're praying to God to give you the aspect of being able to afford to take care of these problems. And all you're seeing is more and more problems, but you got to open your eyes up to the bigger picture of what God's doing. Sometimes you're not seeing the mountain moved. You're not even seeing over the mountain. Sometimes God's lifting you up to see the other side of the mountain, And that's what you got to do as a Christian. That's what you got to do in your walk. You got to be able to pick yourself up and go on and watch these mountains get moved out of your way. Put your faith in God. When I say faith, I'm talking about, it snowed last night, and right here is snow. Altogether, it looks abundant, correct? Look up the size of a snowflake. Most snowflakes, it's about the size of a grain of sand. Having that little bit of faith can help you get through all aspects of life. And what you're going through is a mountain. The mountains that God's talking about in the Bible, yes, there are physical, and there is also psychological mountains that we put on ourselves, and stuff that we need to overcome, stuff that God can help us overcome. Our mountains is not physical per se. The Bible is referring to mountains in your life, hard things to overcome. These mountains can be many, many things. You have addiction. You have people struggle with foul language. You have people that struggle with church, with people, and the way they treat people. And sometimes our mountains are something that we're struggling with in day-to-day life that's just bringing us down. God can take care of that. Put our faith and put one foot forward to where God can help you with that. I'm not asking you to repeat after me or pray with me or whatever, but bow your head. Ask God to help you through this, and believe He will. And when I say that wholeheartedly, because I promise you, I've got 2 little girls in there that is a prime example of faith of a mustard seed. When I say that, my wife and I struggled for 6.5 years. When I say 6.5 years, I mean we went through IVF, IUIs, fertility medicine, fertility doctor, fertility this, fertility that. We didn't put our faith where faith should have been put in. We put faith in man and doctors. And if you keep putting faith in man and you put faith in yourself and not in God, you're not going to be able to get yourself through this. I promise you that. And when I keep going on with this, I promise you one thing. God will help you through this. Whatever your mountain is. Whether it's a molehill to somebody else, whether it's Mount Everest to you. Remember, God might be picking you up to see the other side of the mountain where He's going to take you. Grab a hold of that. Have faith He's going to take you through it, because I promise you He will. Thank you all for watching tonight. God bless y'all. Everyone have a wonderful night. Remember, Matthew 17:20, that's where most of this scripture come from tonight. And the story, if you flip on back to Matthew 17 and read the whole story where the disciples brought Jesus to this young boy that had a demon in him, it's a really good, uplifting story once you read it. Have faith in the mustard seed, people. God will move mountains in your life. Good night. God bless you all. Have a wonderful evening.